Hey guys, before we start, look, I just want to tell you guys that my wife is now a Jafar. She's got a symbiote in her belly.
Oh, shit.
Hey!
You put your symbiote in her belly.
And I'm gonna
thought the shit out of her.
I'm gonna be a Braytac. So
Oh, well done. Congratulations.
Well done.
Let's hope you don't get a Ryak.
oh god. No, look, for how long have we been doing this?
3 years.
3 years. So 3.5 years ago, I never would have thought I would have revealed the fact I'm going to be a dad in a Stargate related way. But there we go.
And there were
Changed
so
my
many
life.
Stargate things that happened, jokes in there,
Yeah.
which were great.
I mean, 3 years ago, you literally couldn't have announced it like that because
No.
none of those words would have meant anything to you.
And that's the whole reason I started this podcast.
Absolutely.
To get in on the joke.
To understand the jokes.
And now you make one of the most important announcements of your life with the in-jokes. Look, I'm gonna speak on behalf of Maddie and Brendan. You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Congratulations, mate. Well
Awesome,
done.
man. Well
Yeah.
done.
Cheers,
Well
guys.
done. And your job's over now. So
That's it.
Back,
put the
relax.
feet up and let her
Yeah.
do the cooking.
I still haven't cleaned the house since.
No, why would you? Kid's not here yet.
Get Into Gate. This is episode 130. We're talking Stargate SG-1. The full Get Into Gate team is here. My name, Mitch. Joining me, as always, Matty,
Yow.
Brendan,
Hello.
and Rhys.
G'day, guys.
Rhys is our first-time viewer. The rest of us are long-term fans of Stargate. We are here to break down one episode at a time and get Rhys's thoughts as a first-timer each and every week here on the podcast. We are up to Season 6, Episode 19, The Changeling. Let's get into it, as we do each and every week. Go back to the old synopsis of the episode, see what it's about, and throw it over to Rhys and see what he thought. Teal'c mysteriously begins to lose his grip on reality and is haunted by visions of an alternate existence where he is a normal human being. As his paranoia deepens, Teal'c must rely on the help and comfort of his old friend Daniel Jackson to determine where his dreams end and his reality begins.
Yeah, baby.
Well,
back, oh darling.
We did talk about this last week. At the end of the episode, Rhys, we said, look, this is written by one Christopher Judge. It is a Teal'c episode. It's got all the makings of giving you 10 hards.
absolutely.
What'd you think of this one?
Oh, look, when it first started, it was that first shot. Teal'c was in the hospital bed, and I was like, what's going on here? My wife says, they're going to remove his emblem. I was like, don't be ridiculous.
He doesn't want to look like
Very
Ragnar.
Divorce.
Yeah.
Is it too late?
Don't care if you're pregnant.
Oh, baby Bren's kicking in early, I see.
I'll go to a different planet and leave you two here. But and then the very next scene, he's got no emblem. I'm like, they fucking took his emblem off. What's going on? And then he started having emotion and like acting normal, and I'm like, what is going on
Hey,
here?
bro.
And that was pretty
His
cool,
glorious
man.
nipples out as well, mind you.
He what?
His nipples. They were
What is-
glorious.
Right, I thought you said he grew his nipples out.
No, his glorious nipples.
Just for the role. he
They're
grew
about
out.
10 hards.
I didn't realise he was trimming them.
There's about 10 hards, those nipples.
Right,
Jonas just came into the bathroom just to look at it.
his nipple.
My God.
How long are you going
The
to go on
rumours
with
are
this?
true.
Or Proby was his name.
Yeah, and then
Just probing.
that went on, and then halfway through the fireman scene, I was just like, okay, this is getting a bit long-winded. And then, of course, I knew Shanks was back because they telegraphed it in
They ruined it in the credits again.
the front credits.
did they?
But
Yeah.
big time.
I feel like
But
it's
then-
in an even bigger font than last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in his contract.
It's right in the middle.
But there's
But
so
then
many
it's
words to fit in, isn't there? And special guest appearance
Yeah.
by Michael
Yeah.
Shanks as Daniel Jackson. It's like, there's no room left to see the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And then so I got sick of it towards the middle, but then by the end, it brought me back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's-
I got a second wind.
Yeah, it's one that I think needs a couple of viewings as well, because the first time you watch it, you're like, what the f*** is
Yeah.
going on? And then when you realise what's a dream, because even it's like the stuff that's happening in the SGC is a dream as well.
Yeah,
So it's like it's going from one dream into another dream, and it's not till sort of right at the end that it's actually what's actually happening.
yeah.
So once
And I
you
think
know
that-
that, you can go back and appreciate each scene for what it is.
And I think I've telegraphed it in a few previous episodes that if I don't know what's going on in the episode, like if I'm not the fifth member of SG1 and I don't have a fair idea of what they know, then I'm just annoyed.
Yeah.
Which I understand now. I had a fair idea of what Teal'c knew because he didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And he would have been just as confused, but at the same time, I'm just like I said, it got annoying. But then once I figured out, once they told us, this is what's happening, I'm like, okay, that's cool then. That's all right.
Yeah.
And the fact that Daniel Jackson came in as Daniel Jackson, not this character in the in the normal world.
I like that the most. I think the whole Daniel thing, coming in. Hi, I'm Dr. Daniel Jackson. Like everyone else had a pseudonym.
Yeah.
But he was Dr. Daniel Jackson. I'm like, that's actually him.
Yeah.
Like it's not just a vision. He's in his vision.
Yeah.
And actually,
yeah, but he's integrating himself into it.
Yeah.
to try
and he's
and
like,
help-
no,
help
it wasn't
him.
me. Technically, I didn't help you because I'm not meant to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool the way they did it. Actually, one point where about Daniel, he said, "Oh, I'm late for something. 20 minutes is up." I was like, "Ooh, that's something for the next couple of episodes."
I just thought it was.
assume.
I just thought he knew that it
Right.
was time that Teal'c and Braytak were going to swap symbiotes, so he was going to switch visions again. And Daniel's like, "I'm not going back to the SGC for that vision. I'm staying in this."
Oh,
one
yeah,
over
maybe.
here."
This
He's like,
one's
"So I'm
nicer."
going to go before you transition into the other."
Yeah, possibly.
dream."
I thought he had to do something in a wayland somewhere, which may or
That'd
may
be
not
good.
come back.
It'd be good if they alluded to like he was helping the SGC find Teal'c, but it's like, well, we knew where Teal'c was all along. We just weren't looking
Yeah,
because he was supposed to be away for a few days.
yeah,
So yeah, that would have been nice.
yeah.
During the big fire sequence, though, there was just one thing that kept rolling around in my head. I don't know if you guys had got it, but this kept rolling around and around my head every time.
Oh Jesus. Fireman Sam.
Good old fireman Sam.
Now, if there was a cat in that vision,
No, Postman Pat had the cat.
oh yeah. No, I'm sure Fireman Sam had a pet, didn't he?
I don't know. He had that little
Maybe,
Welsh.
yeah,
That little Welsh kid was his pet. I think.
He just had a probie.
Was Fireman Sam on in the United States? I feel like it was a BBC and
Oh,
ABC
it is.
thing.
Yeah, it is a
English
pommy
thing.
one.
Well, we got it though.
Yeah, but we get everything,
Mate,
Pommy.
we're part of the Commonwealth.
Yeah,
Whatever the
that's
Queen
true.
gets, we get.
we get everything, mate.
Except all the good US shows. You can bring it down now,
Middle.
Mitch. You can bring it down now. It's fine.
Yeah, except great Netflix.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Amazon Vision or whatever it is. Amazon Prime.
Prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. F***ing Stan ruined everything. I mean, great people.
Oh, thank
Great
Great
people. I mean,
people.
they host
Thank you.
Stargate. So,
Yeah.
That's
you
how I've
know.
been watching Stargate, actually, just on the
I blame
move.
Malcolm Turnbull
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
because he cancelled all the VPNs. That's why.
Right.
Well,
Ass hat.
there's an easy workaround.
Hey, what you were saying a minute ago, Brendan,
Purchase
about Proby, Jonas being Proby.
Yep.
Now, I remember, I don't know whether it was with Craig or one of our other mutual friends who was into Stargate, but I remember having an argument with one of them over whether it was Proby versus Provy, as in probational or provisional.
Oh yeah.
And for the life of me, I can't remember A, who I was arguing with, or B, which one I was demanding was the actual one. Like, I don't know if I was Proby or Provy. And for some reason in bloody 2007, none of us thought to just f***ing turn on the subtitles and find out what it actually was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But while they're not
It's a
here.
bit of Gwyneth Paltrow gear
Yeah, absolutely.
for the entertainment.
Well,
Why
I-
would
don't
you
Google.
find out?
I'd
Yeah,
like
why would you
like
find
to
out?
think that I was pushing Proby and they were pushing Provy.
And while
Because
they're not here, you
Of
absolutely
course, you
will.
would like to
Oh,
think that.
absolutely. you were
only
right.
because they were both at the time.
Like, he knows that he was Provy.
No, I don't know.
You're
That's
just
the
like,
thing.
oh, now that no one's here to back it up, I was Provy.
No, the only thing I
You
can
know.
think of is that both of them were in the military, and a provisional officer is a thing, not a probational officer like this
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
But then again, it could have been me from watching certain sci-fi shows that have the military in them.
What
There's
one?
there's provisional
Battlestar?
officers in that kind. Yeah, Battlestar Galactica.
Complete
as
guess, never seen it.
Provisional officers.
That's not what
as
he was
opposed
talking
to
about.
probational.
Obviously. It's never what he's talking about. It's either Star Trek or Roseanne.
How have we
That
talked
is
about-
it.
You guys bring up
Hey.
Roseanne is my
Oh, here we
Cooper.
go again.
Don't
What?
forget about
What
Caroline in the
Roseanne?
City.
Roseanne is my Cooper. You guys bring it up more than I do.
I don't know about that. So Jonas got a new apron.
Yeah, they should have had that in the first episode.
That was a crack up, man.
Yeah,
he
I
was
like
okay with it
You
too.
should have been wearing that in the SGC, definitely.
He loved it.
I'm just going to go
Oh.
check on breakfast.
Yeah, except it should have been like a little. It
You
should
do
have
that, Proby.
It should have been.
Happy birthday.
Come back just wearing the apron.
And then they all walked out wearing them. Yeah. Like I would have loved it if he wore that to the crash that they went to. I don't have time to take it off. I just got to put my jacket on and go.
Blow out the candles at the fire.
Oh, one thing I forgot to say. Puffies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
The
dude.
Puff Daddy, Pete's back.
My wife actually cracked up laughing at me because as soon as I saw him, like, as a doctor, I'm like, puffies. And my wife started cracking up. She goes, I haven't seen you this excited in so long.
Told me he was dead.
I mean, honestly, I was more excited to see a puffis than I was to hear that my wife was pregnant. I'm not even joking. That's true.
You're expecting that.
I think that's why she. Yeah, I think that's why she was laughing so hard.
That's because seeing a Apophis isn't going to cost you tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next 20 years of your life.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
There's our promo for the week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, shit.
Share that on the social.
It's it wasn't the only cameo actually. So in the fireman scene, the actual first fireman sliding down the pole during that big sort of when they're all gearing up, that's Amanda Tapping's real life husband. So that was him.
What's his name?
I didn't write it down.
Didn't write it down. Tapping.
Nah. Yeah.
I think his name's
Hyphenate.
Penn.
Yeah. Well, his name wouldn't be Tapping. It'd be something else. The kid
Glass.
in. Oh God.
Glass tapping.
I get
You'll
it.
make a toast.
Yeah, it's terrible. The kid
That's
in
the son, toast tapping.
the kid in the car accident is Chris Judge's actual real son. That was the
Right.
like 10-year-old boy. That was his actual
Oh,
son.
from God of War.
Yeah, that guy. That's what I was thinking too.
He's Benjamin Buttoning it. Just
Yeah.
and the hot nurse in the hospital vision.
Oh yeah, what was his name?
Greg.
Teal'c.
Hey, nurses can be men.
Wouldn't have thought.
Not in Stargate.
No.
That was Chris Judge's girlfriend, now wife.
Was that her? I was wondering if it was her.
Oh, the one
her.
that was backing up against the wall?
I don't know what they do in their spare time. Maybe.
No, when she
She had the
you
white
mean
tennis
when,
shoes on.
when he was having the vision of Apophis, and then she turned.
He was in the old bloke's room.
Yeah.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
did
This
seem
might
very...
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
her. I thought she just had I thought she just had her shoulders back.
reckon
but
Now,
no.
there's,
no.
there's two things now more exciting for
God
Rhys this week
damn
than finding
it.
out that he's black.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, so
Congratulations,
well done to
Chris.
Christopher Judge.
Fucking
He's
hell.
doing very well for
Jesus
himself.
Christ.
And flip side, she's doing very well for herself as well.
Well, obviously.
You know.
Yeah, I mean that opening scene where he's standing there in front of the mirror and I'm like,
Oh.
you are cut like some kind of Greek.
Yeah. And what did he
Yeah,
say
yeah.
in the audio commentary? Where are the love handles? I'm like, dude, there is none.
I think he says in season one of the season 7 commentaries, yeah, through season 6 and 7, he put on about 25 pounds of muscle. Like he just once.
How would you know? Are you watching ahead?
I just watch the shows a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
once Daniel left and he didn't have his best bud to go and get up to mischief with. Yeah, he was just hitting the gym in his spare time and
Yeah.
put on like 25 pounds of muscle. Or something.
I like to think it is his name. He gets solo writing credit, Christopher Judge, for this episode, that he did actually write every word of the script, because there is that scene with Daniel Jackson later on. He's like, I don't know if you're healthy enough for the surgery. He's like, look at me. I'm the healthiest human being you've ever seen. Yeah, you know it. I'm like,
damn it.
God damn fucking right you are.
Fucking A.
God, look at those traps. I don't even know what traps are, but that must be
Well,
it.
Your
and
traps have traps.
I think he might have had some input on the costume as well, the costume design, because if you notice, he's not wearing a patient gown. He's wearing doctor scrubs,
Yeah, that's
like just which are much more form fitting,
I ain't
you
wearing
know. And it's not imagine Teal'c walk around in a gown that opens in the back.
true. That would have been great. His keys to blowing in the wind. That would have been amazing.
Keystone.
Look at my glutes.
I want to show off every muscle I've got.
I did find it funny though that in Teal'c's sort of dream when he's a fireman, it's not his wife he's dreaming of that's his partner.
No.
It's old
Yeah.
Sharnock
Yeah.
from Crossroads.
Yeah.
Could they just easily translate Sharnock into an English woman's name easier than they could have?
Yeah, well,
his-
she was Shauna.
Yeah.
She was just
Yeah.
Shauna.
Yeah, Sharnock to Shauna, and it's like, that
Yeah, I
makes
suppose
sense, makes sense.
Dreyarch, that's going to be harder, isn't it? Mind you, they just called Braytak Bray.
Yeah,
Like that was
Yeah,
someone's
that's a name.
Sure.
And
I think
I
it-
subtitles it as BRAE. It's like
Yeah.
Bray, and I'm like, where in the world is that a name?
Yeah.
And I think it was just mainly whatever actress was available at the time. That's who they got.
Probably. And although they didn't
It's
share...
probably fresh in the mind too, because like Teal'c's wife was in it twice.
Yeah, but
with
she
two different actresses.
She died like 6 months ago at the start of the season. He had a funeral
Yeah, but
pie
she
for
wasn't
her.
in
We
the
didn't even
episode.
see her. That's how
Didn't
much
see
we
her.
cared.
Yeah, but Teal'c in the story burnt his wife like 6 months ago, as opposed to Shinnok, who
I
died
forgot
like
about that.
2.5 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
So that's why they brought Shinnok back.
Yeah.
and Changeling was his he had a fling with her pre.
Yeah, back in the
Teal'c,
early
right?
days. Yeah,
Yeah.
before he was
Yeah.
Yeah,
married.
it was like the one that got away and then
Yeah,
kind of came
they grew up
back,
together
so-
as kids or something from memory.
Yeah, see, child.
Yeah, like the fact that Teal'c burnt his wife wasn't a tribal tradition. He just wanted to make sure she was
Yeah.
dead.
Well,
burn this
and I
bitch.
guess timeline-wise for
Take her
Teal'c,
organs
Why do you
if you
think I
want.
left the planet?
timeline-wise
The
for
Naga.
Teal'c, Shinnok is the last person he had sex with, not Dreyarch. So maybe that's,
Yeah.
there's a
Well,
bit
that
of-
we know of.
There's a bit of
Yeah.
symbiote muscle memory kind of thing going on there.
Yeah.
Pretty sure him and Jonas got it on.
Well,
Yeah,
that
not that
leads
Jonas
me
wanted
to my next point is Shinnok and Corrin, both in this episode, didn't share any scenes together, I don't believe. However, in 2005, they went on to star in a movie together called Mansquito. Which
One
is
of the great films.
Which is basically
Absolutely.
just a B-movie knockoff of The Fly, but
I wouldn't have thought so.
surprisingly
Nah.
turns into a mosquito. Have a listen.
Whoever wrote Bane wrote that movie.
I've got the trailer here for
Bug.
you.
A movie about a bug.
I've got the trailer here for you. Just have a listen to some of this gold.
The
Oh.
disease affects both young and old. Every bed is full, and they're doing all they can.
He was scheduled to take part in our experimental drug testing program. But wait.
What are you saying that you're experimenting on convicts?
Too little, and nothing happens. Too much, and who knows what you'd get.
That explosion must have done something to him. I'm telling you, it must have altered his DNA somehow.
Oh no, she's becoming a woman,
Blood
Skeeto.
transfusion to try and slow this down.
This is before SG1.
After.
He wants
Oh.
to meet Tom. That's
looks
why he's
younger.
looking for me.
There she is.
Oh, right.
You don't know what you're up against! You can't go in there. Well, I'm going in. Hey, Mosquito!
No, he's not dead, Tom. Isn't that my blood? No, Ray!
Is it gone?
Mosquito Man.
And I would encourage everyone who just listened to that to actually go and look for that trailer just to see that
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Hey, Mansquito, because then it's Corrin Nemec with a rocket launcher
Yeah. Or
firing it
just-
at
Say
poor
hello to my
CG.
little friend Mosquito.
Or I think the most viewed
Shooting a
part,
mosquito with a bazooka.
the most viewed part on YouTube of that entire movie is there's a scene of Musetta Vander like almost turning into a mosquito, but because it's a B movie, she's wearing like this matching pink lacy bra and panties with like a white
yes.
cotton shirt over the top that she pulls off real sexily
Yeah, you gotta
as
do
she's like
that.
turning into a monster.
Gratuitous
Yeah.
B-movie
Oh,
horror.
it's so terrible.
Oh, not too far off Corrin Nemec's new movie, Rotten Tail, where he is a rat. This isn't a joke.
So I was waiting for a punchline.
Yeah, but
Oh yeah, I did see him share
and
that.
I
on
believe
the
he's done that a
Twitters.
couple of times
right.
too. It
That looks
started
alright.
out as like a digital thing. It's like it's one of those things that, like started out as like an online thing, like a little digital short, and
Ah,
then
you're
became
right.
something kind of like
looks pretty sweet.
Sanctuary.
It looks pretty sweet. I wouldn't mind seeing it. I wonder if we get it here in Australia.
Probably not for a couple of years, mate. We're so far away from everything, you know.
Tritonin
Yeah.
makes a comeback.
Yeah,
Yeah, baby.
I mean, obviously that's the end of Teal'c's
Yeah.
symbiote and
Did we-
Braytax.
did we kind of give that away back in The Cure? Did we kind of telegraph that Tiff
Yeah,
would be on
absolutely,
Tritonin?
you guys did.
Hey, go back and listen to the audio. It's like, well, it might not return, but it might, and it might come back very soon.
Probably will be in 6
I think I
episodes when
said-
Teal'c and Braytac have it.
I think I
but
said
it might not be.
lucky Chris Judge can pronounce Tritonin well because he
Yeah.
says it a lot.
Well, how's this? This was not the original ending that Christopher Judge wrote.
See, I was wondering about that because I'm like, does he get told, you know,
Yeah.
obviously ahead of time, the writer's room, the showrunners go, okay, we're going to introduce Tritonin as being this thing for the Jafar and all that. Does he go, let me write Teal'c's
Into
journey
it,
toward
yeah.
that. Or, is this just... It feels very much like a standalone episode for 36 minutes, and then right at the end it's like, bang, Tritonin on you, which is a big thing.
Yeah, because Chris Judge's original script was probably twice the length.
Yeah.
It could have been a double episode, but they forced him to trim it down into a single episode. He had an initial ending planned because at this stage they still thought this was the final season. They hadn't been renewed for season 7 yet.
Right, okay.
So Teal'c wanted to potentially wrap up his storyline, and it was Brad Wright who actually did a polish on the script and also said, no, we can't do this, so Tritonin is going to be the out. Which Chris Judge...
We can't do this just in case we get picked up, you reckon? Or
Well, I'll play the audio for you in a second.
Well, they said this, I think Carmen, what's his name?
Carmen Argenziano.
Yeah, Jacob said, well, this is Tritonin is what you'll have for the time being, and we'll be able to fix it along the way.
And back in The Cure, they said it's not a suitable replacement for a symbiote because you're just exchanging one for the other. But then there was a little line in this where Jacob says, oh, well, we've been working on it ever since then, and we've refined it quite well, blah, blah, blah.
It kind of made sense to me in a way because it does make sense for the Tok'ra to prevent the Goa'uld from having the Jafar under the thumb.
It totally makes sense. So
it kind of bought it.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh, it was
but
perfect.
I've never had an issue with it. Through the entire series of the show, I've never had an issue with it until I heard what the initial ending was going to be.
I'm guessing that Teal'c's going to give up his symbiote to Braytek, so Braytek lives and then Teal'c just dies off.
Not even close.
Wow.
That would have been pretty
You wrote
epic.
this because you wanted to get rid of the symbiote, right?
Yeah, and hopefully grow some hair and get rid of the gold and the tattoo.
It's unfortunate it couldn't have gone on for another 7 or 8 minutes because then we would have had, the original cool ending that you wrote up with that.
Yeah, I actually go to an Asgard healing chamber, and I gain the knowledge of the Goa'uld.
But that didn't happen.
Would have been cool.
It would have been.
Gain the knowledge of the Goa'uld.
So essentially...
From an Asgard healing. That doesn't make sense.
From what I assume
Sorry,
from that is an Asgard healing facility removes his symbiote or whatever, and he gains the genetic memory that we've been wanting from the Goa'uld. And so then he has the genetic memory of the Goa'uld, so he knows how all the Goa'uld tech operates, and he could help us reverse engineering all the Goa'uld technology and all that kind of stuff.
Granted, there aren't a lot of Jafar out there lining up, knocking on the Asgard's door saying, hey, can you give us that procedure? But do you reckon that would have been by accident? Or is it just one of those things where...
Gamma radiation.
where Teal'c the Jafar gets the knowledge from the Goa'uld that's inside him, and, O'Neill and Hammond turn around to Thor and go... Would that have always happened? Well, you never asked, but of course that would have happened. And it's like, you motherfuckers holding
or
shit
it's like
back on us again.
his Primtar pulls a full Jolinar and just decides to be all benevolent in the end and just bequeath Teal'c all the genetic memory that the Goa'uld have or something like that.
They asked Thor about it, and Thor just goes, "It's sci-fi. Just go with it."
Yeah, and I think I'm glad they did it the way they did in terms of the Tritonin, because I think if the series had ended here, that would have been a cool ending to Teal'c's arc. But going forward as a series, it would have been too convenient. There would have been too many, Teal'c knowing everything the Goa'uld know would eliminate the Goa'uld as a threat at all. So,
it was Brad Wright, you said, that did the polish. That'd be an interesting question to ask him, whether he did make that call in the hope that, well, obviously you always hope that you're going to get picked up if that's what if the series is ending and you've got a big question mark, but whether that was just I think overall for a story, this would be better if we changed it a little bit, or, it's at risk that we continue on. This is going to be a poorer decision for a story for another season or 4 seasons.
Yeah, apparently they were heading towards the movie. They wanted a movie. They wanted a movie up there, and it's like they were apparently stepping away from the Goa'uld, and Anubis was the big threat who's not, we don't know at this stage what he is. So they wanted to step away from the traditional Goa'uld and get the movie to wrap it up. So...
It's interesting because Brad Wright's series on Netflix, Travelers, that he made a season. They said, yeah, okay, do a second one, and then after that season, they gave him go ahead for a third one, and then so at the end of that third season, it was a bit of a wrap up, but it could have gone on. But it was, I think that season, the third season, ended perfectly, and they didn't give him a go-ahead for the 4th season. So it's interesting, that it was his decision to sort of say, oh, no, we'll keep it open, but, that way, if we do end it, it can be.
I think he wants to come back to Stargate, which apparently he is doing.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, I did mention it a couple of ranks ago too. It's like, because I think the end of season 5, 6, 7, and 8, they thought they were getting cancelled every time. So they wrapped up the series 4 times in the hopes of getting a movie, and the show just kept getting renewed. So like season 5, 6, 7, and 8 are probably the best finales of the entire series.
Yeah.
We get so spoiled, especially season 6 and season 7. We get so spoiled in terms of production value and storylines. So yeah, I feel like Brad sort of had practice at that kind of giving you a status. And I think, you know, if this was the final season, once we get to full circle, I think that would have been a satisfying ending had the show ended. And then season 7 would have been a satisfying ending had the show ended.
Yeah. I just find it funny how they're talking, that obviously they didn't know they were going to get extended, but then end of season 7, then Atlantis, the spin-off comes off.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea, is they were going to wrap up.
What?
They were going to wrap up SG-1 and move over to Atlantis.
What was the reason? Why did they want to do that? Why did they want to finish SG? Obviously, to sort of get a bit of a kick up the ratings.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we'll touch on it in maybe a season's time or so. But yeah, originally it was they were going to wrap up SG-1, keep going with Atlantis, but then they both got picked up. So then they were actually didn't have as much budget as what they thought. So a lot of the budget was going towards SG-1, and Atlantis didn't have a lot of the budget that it actually wanted.
Yeah, right.
Apparently.
That's funny. We'll just apply for them both, and surely one of them will get picked up.
Yeah.
Okay, you got both of them. Ah, shit.
That's pretty much what it was.
Which one's your favourite? That one's getting more money.
Yeah.
Speaking of favourites, and I think I know the answer to this, but I thought I'll ask it anyway. I thought for Rhys, for you, we've got like 3 dream episodes now. The first one being Forever in a Day, the second one being Absolute Power, and now this one. And I thought, well, which one do you think was the most successful? And I figured it'd probably be this one because it was a Teal'c-centric rather than a Daniel-centric.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything with less Daniel's good. No, look. Yeah, no, I think it was good in this one. Obviously, yeah, like you said, it's a Teal'c episode. Didn't really care too much for Sharae. Didn't really care. Or that was I guess Daniel's.
How dare you?
Episode. Didn't care.
Husband.
Tell you,
but yeah, I think
I loved you. I spent my summers in Italy.
But yeah, I think I mean, if you're gonna make me choose, this one.
Yeah, I figured it was
Gonna make me.
Speaking of choices, I would have loved to have heard the end of O'Neill's sentence, like where they get back to we're back in reality, proper reality, and they're like they've been sharing the symbiote. Like, and I mean, we talked a lot about it, but I just want to point out like. What a boss move by Teal'c. He's like, it's the only thing I can do. I'm going to rip this thing out and just like every 20 minutes or whatever it might be, just swap it.
Yeah.
Like it's going to kill us slowly, but it might
kill
kill
the
us
symbiote.
slowly. And it's also like absolutely no respect to the symbiote. It's just going, I'm using you every day to stay
Fix
alive.
me,
but
bitch.
you fix him, fix me. This thing's just getting ripped out of like different environments and shit.
Totally reminded me of like if they were stuck deep underwater and had one oxygen tank and they're like just like buddy breathing. That's
See,
pretty
now,
much what it was.
It reminded me of an episode of Scrubs. This is all I could hear in my head.
Therefore, we're wiener cousins. Where I come from, this right here, stronger than family.
I'm not hooking fingers.
Okay, it won't be official. We touched it, counts.
That is symbiote sharing music right there.
Yes.
Pretty much.
I mean, I've said all along I want Braytac and Teal'c to share a symbiote, but that wasn't what I meant.
Not to stay alive. Sure to create life. But
I just want to hear the end of that sentence. Hammond comes in and gives the big, run around, and O'Neill said, General, if it comes down to a choice, and they just sort of cut him off, and I'm like, O'Neill was going to have to go, look, I love me some Braytac. Don't get me wrong, but Teal'c's my boy. You can kill that old prick before you let Teal'c die.
Yeah.
Where they were like, well, they just jumped straight to, I think Teal'c's made his choice.
Yeah.
He would prefer that Braytac stay alive. So before they cut him off, I just want to see how, not cold-blooded, but just how definitive and absolute O'Neill was going to let himself get to vocalize it anyway.
it was more of it seemed to me like a straightforward, logical, hey, Braytac's had his time. He's had a lot of good years. Good on him. We need Teal'c more than Braytac. I think it's logical. We just keep Teal'c.
Teal'c's my boy.
Yeah.
Although not my favourite Jack line of the episode.
What's that?
Tritonin, sir.
The drug the Pangarans offered us?
Whoa, that's ground Gould, isn't it?
I thought it was going to be Teal'c with no junior. That's
I just like the term ground Gould.
There's a concept.
There's a
Yeah,
concept.
that was funny.
Ground Gould I thought was really good. He's like, whoa.
But he didn't
ground
correct him
Goulds?
either, which I found weird. I'm like, are they actually crushing them and like liquefying them?
Putting a little bit of paprika in there and just getting one of those little stone things in the kitchen.
What are they doing? Are they milking them?
Yeah, I assume
Well,
they're
I
milking
think-
them.
Oh, you
think
can
they're
milk
just-
anything with nipples.
I think they're just letting him piss and shit in the water and then drinking it.
Oh.
That works. Seems legit.
The holy shit moment for me was when it showed Teal'c and Braytac on the beach with all those dead
Yeah.
Jafar, and I was like, and then I
yeah.
realised that hey, this isn't a dream, this is real, and that's obviously when it comes to fruition. You're like, holy shit, that's what's actually happening, and the rest is dreaming. And then it zoomed out, and then you're like, holy shit, this is a massacre. Like, this
Yeah.
is huge
Yeah.
in the whole
And the only
storyline of
two that survive.
yeah, in the whole storyline of Jafar rebellion.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Carter that said, 100 Jafar rebels are dead. And I'm like, when she said that, I'm like, there's not many of them.
Yeah,
and
there wasn't
yet
that many
100
as
less
it
now.
was.
All their symbiotes were removed except for Braytac.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Or
they've
Teal'c
left him for dead.
because-
And then Teal'c's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to grab Braytac's symbiote.
Yeah. No, I think it was the other way around because Teal'c was the only survivor, so he put his into Braytac. That's what they said.
Why would they leave Teal'c's in, but?
Well, maybe he's just hiding behind the rocks the whole time.
And then as he come out, he tripped over and smacked his head, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm dying." He needed it as well.
shot himself, so no one would be like, "You're a pussy."
Teal'c, you're at the massacre. There isn't a cut on you. Oh, I've got a bump in my head though. Look at it. It's pissing out blood.
I think Chris Judge really lucked out in this episode to get Martin Wood to direct this, because I think that was, to me, one of the standouts was the transitions between dream sequences, like that great one in the commissary where like Teal'c's sitting there with Carter to saying he can't sleep, and there's like that whip pan like past him,
Yeah, the green screen.
and then
yeah.
it kind of dissolves into
Yeah.
him sitting at the table at the
fire
at the
place,
fire station,
firehouse.
and there were so many like that.
I remember that looking way better on my standard definition TV. 2003.
Well, the one thing that you couldn't deny was the amazing Steadicam shot following Hammond and Fraser walking up that spiral staircase. So there's like Nathaniel Massey, who's their new Steadicam operator. He's got this, 75-pound Steadicam harness strapped to him. He's walking backwards up that spiral staircase for their walk and talk. It's a perfect shot. I absolutely friggin' love that. It looks so good.
I reckon he'd
yeah.
be strong, but I think very athletic because he would have had to practice that at least 50 times.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, walking backwards up the stairs just on your own in a spiral staircase would be hard enough.
Oh mate, there's one stair to get up into my front door, and I hate it.
You usually just fall over it and go, drag me.
Yeah, I'll say to my wife, "Can you carry me over this thing, please?"
I think talking about Martin Wood, my favourite shot is the massacre because it's all in one shot on the crane,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and it pans out eventually, and you're like, holy shit!
Yeah, and obviously a composite shot too, because it was like all real stuff, and then obviously a matte painting sort of background.
Yeah, that's
with
true.
the sunset and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's very few actors that could pull that off. I think there's a episode in a couple of weeks, Prophecy, that I think could have been a good episode had it had a better director, and I think the director is what let it down. So yeah, I think this would have been a really challenging one for a less experienced director.
Yeah, the way that it built up to that shot, like when you opened up in the massacre, before you even knew what it was, because that was the first time you were in the actual reality of what was going on. And you're on like a
that's
couple of
true.
Jafar, and they're laying up against a rock, and they're dead, they're covered in blood, there's smoke and shit. There's, there's clearly been a battle, but there's just like dead Jafar like lined up next to each other. And I'm like, really? Like, massacre or not? What are the chances that they're all just going to be all standing next to each other? But then you get to like Teal'c and Braytac, and yeah, okay, Teal'c's obviously like moved a little bit over to Braytac to help him to swap symbiotes and all that sort of stuff. And I'm like, if even you guys were caught unawares and you're next to each other, this thing really must have been an ambush, because no one would sneak up on you two guys, and it just sort of really painted the picture. Then when they do pan out.
They're already hugging.
Yeah. Right in the middle of a Tech-My-Tay.
And sharing
forearm
symbiotes.
grab.
And 100 Jafar just come up on him. Oh shit! Where did you guys come from?
My shot actually was it the opening shot or
Yeah, it was.
post credits where it was just
the
all
opening.
through the base, right?
Yeah, one
and
shot.
yeah,
Oh, the hospital? I think
Oh,
it was the hospital.
Yeah. And you're weaving in and out, and you're following different people, and as they duck in, you're following someone else. And that was almost for me, once you watch the episode, like a bit of a directorial tease as to what the episode was going to be about. It was like all these switches, you're following one, and I'm like, this is really cool. Like,
and then it ends on Teal'c in the surgery room. Yeah.
And it was Martin Wood's a pro at that, and they only get more and more epic. I think there's one, it might be for Continuum, and it's just around the entire base.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that like pushes up on one character and you think you're going to follow them and they disappear and the camera keeps moving and basically shoots every square inch of that base in one whole opening shot.
And I think the reason that I love it, A, it looks awesome, and B, it doesn't consume as much time because you're setting up for one shot. Sure, it might be on different locations, but you'll do it 10 times, but once you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
You're not doing cutaways and bullshit like
From
that.
a director's point of view.
Yeah. And it just sets you into the mood and into it.
It's like Birdman only took something ridiculous like 8 weeks to
Is
film.
it funny?
Oh, not even. It was under a month.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that
ridiculous.
until I read up about the movie after I'd seen it. They were so like just simple. I didn't even notice that they were big long oneers. You were just in it. Like Martin Wood, you can tell when he does a oneer because they're events. They're these big things. Same as like Daredevil. Those big oneers are because they're usually a big fight scene or something like that. They're big events. But Birdman, I was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen whether I would have picked up on it as much as Birdman because that was all the hype about that movie. And I saw a pre-screening here in Australia, but it had been out in the States already, so there was so much talk about it being. It's made to look like one complete
Plus
shot.
all the actors are talking about it so much.
Yeah,
as well.
And it is a very brave choice for a feature film to essentially play it out like a theatre production or something. But there's a show like Cops and Third Watch. I don't know if anyone ever saw that.
Yeah,
Third
one of the best shows ever.
Great show. And there was one episode. So it's split. It's network TV. So there's ad breaks. So there's like 4 11-minute breaks in the episode. There was 4 shots in that entire episode.
That's cool.
And so it was all like the suburban streets. And so you'd follow the cops, and then they would like go and talk to the fireys behind something had happened behind the house. So you would walk down like the driveway and at the back of this house, and they would chase like a suspect down the alleyway, and then they pop up the other end of the street, and you'd be following all these guys, and then you'd see the initial characters that you were following 8 minutes ago 5 houses down still having a chat, and then it would cut to the ad break, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, got to like the second or third ad break, and I'm like, this has been one shot every time we rejoin the show. And I'm just like, there was no purpose for it story-wise. It was just the director going, all right, I can do this. Let me just
flex some muscles.
Some muscles. One more bit on the directorial thing. There was an early tease where I thought, is this a Peter DeLuise thing? Because you said something the other week about how DeLuise loves dropping weird names in for people, and the fact they were calling him T when he was a fiery. It's like, what's up, T? But then like they had Sam Carter take it a little bit too far. She's like, yeah, what's up, T-Man? I'm like, don't know if I believe it from you though. It's not a man-woman thing. I just think you look like an excited child. Like, I get to call him T-Man.
Yeah, it's like when I try and pull off like bro. It just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work.
There's one thing that I did notice, and I just want to say a really big you guys for making me notice it. Daniel Jackson's Ascension sweater.
Yeah!
You're damn right he did. You're damn right he did. In the vision. For the sweater.
He's wearing that jacket. In the vision. And
then never wore it.
When he stood over the bed,
Do you notice Chris Judge just throws his nightgown over that chain?
Yeah. It's like, I don't give a shit. I
wrote this bitch
in the
script. Look at it.
In the commentary, they mentioned that he was just carrying it, and apparently all like the people that keep track of continuity and stuff were just like, oh god, what's he doing? Because he was just carrying it.
Proby will pick that up.
Yeah, Proby will get it.
I've got a weird question. Have we ever seen Teal'c eat meat?
Oh, I've seen Teal'c eat. Oh no, not on. Ice cream?
I know in a couple of episodes... Oh, that's actually an interesting point.
Grapes?
I know in a couple of seasons' time, someone does say to him, I packed turkey because I know it's your favourite. So he clearly does eat meat, but up to this point, have we seen him eat it? There was obviously that scene where he's eating grapes, and there's like... I remember seeing mashed potato on that plate. It was piled up with lots of stuff. But I don't remember being like, like a Salisbury steak on there or anything like that.
Is Chris Judge a vegetarian?
Well, no, it's just this one line that really... I was like, that's a weird thing for him to say.
I would prefer not to consume bovine lactose at any temperature.
Because it's funny. It's funny because he's an alien. He's like, why the f*** are you milking a cow and drinking it, you sick f***?
Rhys just made a point that I had no idea about. He was obsessed with ice cream back in Prometheus.
True. Yeah.
That's bovine lactose.
He didn't know that.
At a cold temperature, not a hot temperature.
It is at a temperature.
I think that's why he swapped with O'Neill, because he's like, this is bovine.
But before he says it, I was questioning
I want
anyway.
soy ice cream. That's what I didn't like about Carter's place in this episode, was that later on she says to Fraser, "Oh yeah, prescribe him some warm milk." I'm like, just stop telling her to ask about warm milk.
Warm milk's not funny.
Like,
Stop with it.
When
give it a rest, Chris.
when was YouTube created?
It's like, I want to
Does
say
anyone know?
it was like 05. It was actually quite late in the
Oh,
grand scheme of things.
bit earlier, because I thought, well, this came out in 03, and I'm just like, I wonder if Teal'c like just loves ice cream, but then, you know, in his downtime, he's suddenly seen a video of like how ice cream gets made, and they're like milking the cow, and he's just like, what the and now that's what he's just like, I will not consume bovine lactose at any temperature.
I've been to a lot of planets, and I've never seen someone jacking off a cow.
Yeah. Well, and I've had this conversation
All four
before.
of its
It's like,
teats.
who thought that? Who thought like, okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Who's the first guy?
He's like, I'm gonna drink that.
Or is it?
Well,
was
we
it?
drink human milk. Why
It's
wouldn't we
like-
drink everyone else's milk? That's what he'd be
Teal'c
thinking.
gives it a try one day. And Jack's like, Norman is a bull. You were pulling on his dick.
Yeah, but it's like,
You can't suck it straight out to
how far till he got
The
to
city
cow though?
slickers
It's like milking dogs, milking goats, milking.
Teal'c, that's
Rats.
Walter's cat. Don't. He won't like that you're doing that, please.
cat milk.
Yeah. Has anyone seen the show Awake? Now I'm gonna
Doesn't sound familiar.
assume that it's a no. It did only last. It's one of those shows that, I mean, I thought it was great, but it lasted one season. It had Jason Isaacs. You guys might recognise his face, but he's the Malfoy.
That's
you would.
Malfoy
He's
from,
Malfoy father in Harry Potter.
And he was in the first season of Discovery.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so him and he stars
Yeah,
as this
he's a
copper.
legend.
Jason, yeah, he's great, phenomenal actor. And so the series is called Awake, and he's a copper. And the premise is that he is involved, I think, in the opening scene, a car accident. He wakes up, and his wife is dead. He's traveling with his wife and his teenage son, and his wife died in the car accident. He's going through all the motions of organising a funeral, blah blah blah. Wakes up the next day, and his wife's in bed next to him. And shits himself. He's like, where's my son? Whatever his son's name is. Where is he? Where is he? And she's like, he died. What are you doing? And so every time he goes to sleep, he wakes up in an alternate reality where the alternate death happened, and he doesn't know what's real. And he goes and sees a psychologist, and they're like, well, this is the reality. And he goes, yeah, that's what the other one said. Because then when he goes into the other reality, he goes and sees a completely different psychologist.
That's cool.
The way they shoot it's really, really cool. I think when he's in the reality with his wife, it's a very, very tungsteny sort of lit. It's that very yellowy sort of filter over the top. Whereas when he's with his son, it's a bit more blue and it's a bit more depressing because there's this teenage son dealing with the death of his mother and all that. And the fact that he's a cop, obviously that's a great dramatic sort of storyline anyway and a good concept. But there's clues and bits and pieces that come into his life in the reality where, say, his wife is dead that help him solve crimes in the reality where his son is dead, and vice versa. So, like, he might go to a street and see Johnson Street, and then in the other reality, he'll come across a list of suspects, and one of them will be Johnson. He goes, I think this might be the guy. And so he doesn't know which is real. And the is cancelled it after one season. And it's not like they wrapped it up after one season going, we don't know whether we're going to get renewed. It just ended, and then they found out they weren't going to get renewed. But it reminded me so much when I watched this episode because Teal'c, come the end of it, was like, I don't know what's real anymore. Even though when he's talking to this psychologist, Dr. Daniel Jackson, he goes, you're going to laugh, but I'm an alien and I travel to other planets and save the universe from weird slug creatures. But when I'm there, it feels real.
Yeah. And when that's real,
yeah.
When I'm there, this is fake.
And then I love that, yeah, like Daniel obviously, interjecting, and maybe none of them's real. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
I'll tell you something Jason Isaacs in, the OA. I reckon he's left that to watch that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Weird, super weird.
Yeah.
Like something that I would have really loved to see when I was 13. Like,
yeah.
Really super weird.
That's new sci-fi Netflix, right? Like,
yeah, I think it was on a different channel and then Netflix picked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, from season 3, I think.
Yeah, cool. Okay, check that one out.
It's cool.
Nice.
Off-world activation.
Oh, hello.
Whoa.
Stations.
Okay.
Hello, it's Ashley OG.
Oh.
I'm taking advantage of an empty house to do this because it really, really sucks when you've got people asking questions like, why the hell are you talking to your phone? So an empty house is much nicer to do this with.
Absolutely.
And I'm currently procrastinating Taylor assignments that you really wouldn't believe. I'm recording this in the middle of listening to Politics 2.0. So I'm procrastinating Inception style, which is really, really impressive for me. I usually only do it one layer, but today I'm doing it too, so there you go. Today I've only really got a couple of thoughts. The first is a very, very shameless self-promo. The blog, website, WordPress doohickey thing that I started at the beginning of Season 6 has expanded a little bit since that first weekend. I've added the season wrap-ups really slowly. I've got Seasons 1, 2, and 3 up already, and I'm in the middle of doing Season 4, so that should be done relatively soon.
Nice.
I say that, it might be 2 weeks, could be a month, I don't know. I also don't know what else I'm going to do with the website apart from season wrap-up rankings. I really don't know, but we'll see what happens when I get to the middle of late seasons and I've come up with some random thoughts. I do have a random thought out there already, which I'll probably sort of reiterate a bit later. But yeah, there's not really much else I can think of at the moment to do with it, but we'll see if that changes in the future. Also, Damo Edwards, thanks a bunch. You've liked and presumably read all the posts up on the website so far.
Well done,
You've
Damo.
apparently enjoyed my ramblings enough to like them for some reason, so thanks
For
a
some
bunch for
reason.
that. My second
Good work,
point
community.
is I'm not sure whether it's because we're getting really close to the end of Season 6 or what, but I've lately found myself getting really excited for the seasons to come.
Preach!
Not just specific episodes, but the story of the Stargate universe as a whole. That sounds so generic, I'm so sorry, but I don't want to say episode title or drop any hints just yet for Rhys's benefit. But right at the moment, one is the Changeling, for obvious reasons, as you boys will know, except for Rhys. And tell me to get f***ed if you want, but for some reason, I really enjoy Memento.
Get
And I don't know why. I really, really don't know. But there's just something I just really like. It'll probably end up being in my top 7. I just really enjoy it. I really don't know why, but we'll find out, I guess. That's pretty much it for now. I haven't got any other life updates or anything interesting. It's raining in Perth, as you can probably hear right now.
Yeah.
And now that I'm talking about the weather and where I'm leaving, it's probably not a great sign, so I'm going to go. Good luck with the rest of the podcast, and have a nice week / many weeks / whenever I get to have a chat with you again. See ya. Bye.
Thanks, OG.
Well, nice.
And we will need all the luck we can get with our podcast. Me especially.
I mean, don't be worried about only one person liking your stuff.
Oh, like I
A
said,
few people.
we went for, 9 months before we got up to 50
Before
listens.
anyone except Rhys would listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, 48 of those were me.
Send it through and we'll give it a share on our socials as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bit underdone there by whatever microphone of whatever phone she was using. You can tell it's raining. I want to hear the alternate versions of that voicemail, which goes, and I'm at the beach now, as you can hear now. Or, the traffic's really busy. Here, listen to this. It all sounded exactly the same. But I'm sorry
I'm
that
in
it was...
space. Listen to this.
I thought you meant, she goes, oh, it's raining, listen to this. Something random like
Plane
that.
flies over.
Or that truck.
Yeah.
Well, for Rhys, I wanted to ask you
Okay.
when Teal'c was lying on the bed and he was hallucinating in the kind of the Stargate command vision, and he looks over at Jonas, and Jonas is like, "You right, Teal'c?" And he's like, "Go back to sleep, Proby." Don't worry about it. Go back to sleep, Proby. And he's like, "What the?"
What did you want to ask me?
Nothing.
I thought you were just going to leave it at, hey, Rhys, so when Teal'c was there on the bed, Rhys's mind just started really kicking into gear there.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, at the start or the end? I thought you were going to say, take it from there.
Oh, it's time for the Get Into Geek.
Oh,
Scary mailbag.
Well, packed full. Got to open it and all the jokes. Radcliffe
I'm sorry,
Receiver.
hold on a second. That was the mailbag version of me going something, something, something world.
yeah. At least I still sang the jingle. Radcliffe Receiver has gotten in contact with us. Day 16 of hashtag 1,000 words a day challenge -podcast. She says, if you know me, there is 100% chance you hear me talking about Get Into Geek podcast for the last couple of months. If not, let me tell you about the best Stargate-themed podcast ever. If you love Stargate and you're looking for some new podcast to listen to while doing mindless tasks in your free time or on your commute, and you don't mind people looking at you strange for laughing out loud, I do that a lot, and screaming, Cooper! Sometimes quietly, sometimes not so much. That's the right podcast for you. Look, I can't help but think that Radka is trying to get her 1,000 words up really early. 4 guys, 3 old-time fans, and a newbie, talking all things Stargate, from deep discussions about Stargate Universe to pooping through the gate. Yep. And where elsewhere can you read a chapter of Walter Diaries? There you go, Brendan. A little shout-out for you. The true hero of Stargate. What more can I say about it? So maybe I'm a bad person, but I really love hearing that Rhys's father made him wrong. Sorry, Rhys.
Me too.
And I'm a big Star Trek fan. Ooh, that's one, Redcar.
Sorry about that.
How many Star Trek references are we going to get in this Stargate podcast, guys?
But boy,
It's almost like people who like sci-fi like all kinds of sci-fi.
Wouldn't have thought so.
yeah, nah, not everyone. But boy, oh boy, hearing the guys giving Maddie grief about it, priceless. Long live the box of shame. Keep up the good work, guys. 11 out of 10. She says stars. I'm going to say hards.
Yeah, I think that's what you meant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Oh,
just a typo.
Radka
Well
Receva.
nice.
Sensational. 1,000 words well read.
I like the idea that we could make some kind of
I would have
infomercial.
said Ruseva.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Radka Ruseva.
And
yes.
so not to be outdone by Radka's 1,000 words, I reckon we've got maybe a little bit more than that from old Dave Hancock.
Oh, good lord.
Jesus, redact that.
All right, so here we go. G'day, guys. Firstly, that's a gender-neutral guys up there in my salutation. I don't presume to know how you each identify gender-wise.
Absolutely.
And don't want to offend, so I've played it safe.
Thank you, Dave.
To avoid any awkward confusion, I identify as male, except after midnight Saturday for 3 hours. I'm writing
Excellent.
this.
Same with me, but mine's Tuesday.
I'm writing to you
I
all.
identify as a werewolf on midnight time.
Full moon's only once a month.
Not full moon, just at midnight.
I'm writing to you all to hand over my address detail to say thank you for the sweet prize. Dave is one of our Patreon supporters who won one of the key rings.
Nice.
Oh, he scored big time.
I live at 4 Skin Street, Cock County, USA.
Do not.
Don't give his address out live
Oh,
on air,
we'll have
Matty.
to redact that. The greatest country that is and ever will be. That's a little my last name humour there for you because, you know, Hancock. But that's a real county in Tennessee. If you Google map it, the county border outline actually looks like a throbbing knob.
No way.
It does look like it's throbbing.
Well, the border just
Just
out and
just
in, out and in.
pulsates in and out.
There's heaps of Mexicans around, so it's like they're trying to get in. They keep extending it and pushing it back.
They're just having a war over the border. It changes every day.
Thank you guys for the key ring. It really is greatly appreciated. It will take pride of place within my key cluster and will be a constant reminder that you don't have to be receiving support from the Make-A-Wish Foundation for a dream to become reality.
Absolutely.
I'm
It does
actually-
help, though.
I'm actually a fellow Brizzy boy, born and raised at a similar vintage age-wise to you guys, although I probably shouldn't presume age. I was
Don't
reading
assume age, mate.
I was reading an article on CNET a couple of years ago when I stumbled onto a reference to your podcast.
Absolutely.
It was just before your 50th episode that I joined the team, so to speak, and I was a fan from the first episode I listened to. It makes me smile that 4 guys from the best city in Australia pump out a Stargate podcast with fans across the globe.
Absolutely, Dave.
I'm sure most in the know understand and appreciate that you guys are giving up your own time to entertain others, and that's why I jumped onto Patreon as early as I could to help keep the good times rolling.
I think it's what we tell all of our wives. Like, Darl, we're giving up our own time to do this, all right? This isn't fun for me.
Well,
Right?
this-
I have to do
work.
this, okay?
This next bit,
I
you should be
rarely laugh.
I do it for the podcast, so it sounds entertaining. I'm not entertained, love. I hate being away from
This is
you.
my fake laugh.
Well, Dave continues, For as little as a price of one coffee a month.
Damn right.
You're
Dave.
I
goddamn
know I'm
right.
contributing in a small way to something I greatly enjoy, and I encourage others to jump on board.
A large coffee.
It's actually
Half the price of an icebreaker.
Jesus. Twice the amount of coffee.
It's actually a smart investment, as not only do you gain an air of superiority over other listeners, you also get access to all sorts of excellent patron-only bonus content that really cannot be spoken about to those who aren't within the patron inner sanctum. So don't bloody wait. Get into Gate.
Oh.
Good call.
Yeah.
Great call.
I've
Put your hand on my cock.
I've enjoyed a few re-listens of the series to date. I get migraines and have had a shit time of it over the last couple of years. And believe it or not, your show doesn't make my head worse.
I find that very hard.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't.
Hey, he didn't say it makes it better. It just says it doesn't get worse listening to us. Hold on. In fact, it helps me zone out by taking my mind off things when I've got one.
Monotonous, boring
And
shit.
for that,
Helps me
Crap.
sleep.
and for that, I'm really grateful. My doctor can't explain this phenomenon. Now, for
Give
some...
this a listen, Doc.
Give it a go.
Put through the gate.
You watch Stargate? No, even better.
Yeah.
It's an
Who cares?
audio laxative. Now for some constructive criticism. ...
Oh, but I feel like you've done so well. And written so much, and now there's more, and it's negative. Okay.
I bet whoever just read that's ass clenched and nuts tightened, mate. That happens regularly.
As soon as we walk into the studio together.
Oh, my nuts tightened. Just joking. I wouldn't presume to offer any sort of criticism, constructive or otherwise.
Nice.
Only those that like to flog a dead horse would do something like that.
I actually do. Every Tuesday after midnight.
Das ist not eine Booby.
I am,
Einstauber.
however, keen to know how I can support the show in other ways. Which is the most lucrative...
Said nudes, Dave.
Oh,
Absolutely.
definitely. Which is the most lucrative option for you guys, for listeners, for me to jump on board weekly to consume the show? Is it best to listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube? Share what we could do to help out in this way. I guess Brendan's been trying to get the YouTubes up.
Yeah, I
look-
reply to Dave and say, jump on the YouTubes.
The YouTubes.
Because I think we need something ridiculous like 1,000 subscribers and a gazillion views, some shit, in 1 year to get monetized. So
Right.
Well,
Not
I better
expected.
get to it then.
you better subscribe
Anyway,
with all your accounts.
Yeah.
anyway,
Thank
I do that
Fish
here at work, because I get here at work, like hours before the rest of the office. It's like me as a skeleton crew. I should just go and log in on everyone's computer and just hit play on their episodes and just
Yeah.
50
And just-
50 a day. I can do my bit.
Just play, mute, and then minimize the window so it's just playing in the background.
And then it's from episode 1 to
Yeah.
100 that's
Do
up
the
right
whole
now.
playlist.
Okay,
Brilliant.
And everyone else out there do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this works. It'll have.
I mean, you guys can. I couldn't be doing that.
You couldn't even be bothered subscribing.
I could barely be bothered finishing that sentence I just said.
I believe it.
Anyway, I've gone on far too long and it's time to wrap up. As I'm writing, you're 127 eps down with a crap load more to go. I salute the ambition to you to go all the way to the end of Atlantis, and I'm looking forward to listening in as you do. Thank you very much to you all. Cheers, Dave. P.S. I'm hoping you've Google mapped Cock County. It actually looks more like a hairy bush than a knob. Coincidence? I think not. PPS RE the Gibson Brothers podcast. Also brilliant.
You're welcome.
The bloke f***ing the clam story still makes me laugh.
That was Rhys.
The clam. Yeah. That was one of my stories.
Keep on recording the
Rhys
verb.
the clam, that was the story.
Yeah. What was that? Wonder if you got crabs? I don't know.
Keep on recording the verbal shite that comes out of your mouths while on the Terps, boys. I'd ask for them more regularly if I didn't know the toll it must take on your liver and kidneys.
Yeah, they're used
not
to
the
it, mate.
problem. Not the
No,
problem.
that's not the
It's just
problem.
finding spare time to get that plastered.
Yeah, it's trying to find a time where our wives aren't
Yeah, I was
there.
going to say, I think it takes more of a toll on your marriages than it does on your kidneys.
Care about my kidneys
PPSS, dead...
You can cut half your liver off and it still grows back.
Yeah, 2/3 of it.
It's not what happens to your wife, apparently.
Jesus.
Cut 2/3 of hair off and she's dead. How can she love you when she's dead?
And finally, PPSS, dead German horse or whatever can go and inhale a dead horse's cock.
Oh, good on you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Jesus.
I'm going to frame that. That's
was
going
epic.
up on the wall.
Sensational.
Straight to the pool room.
Boom.
Bit of a castle quote there.
Oh, I got it.
For the American listeners, go watch the movie The Castle.
That's pretty much our country.
Doc Fraser, Rhys, I know you had a problem with Doc in Threshold when she was arguing with Braytac about trying to save Teal'c's life because he was brainwashed.
Yeah, I forgot to write this down, but at the time I got so angry about it.
Yeah, because as soon as she says, Jacob comes in with the magic cure, the Tritone, she's like, I'm pretty sure Teal'c wouldn't want that.
Yeah, she said we have to be sure that he actually wants it.
Yeah,
and I was like,
backflip.
wait, you were doing everything you could to save Apophis.
Yes,
because it was your duty. But now that you can save Teal'c when he's just about dead, you're like, I'm not sure if I'm going to. That fucking pissed me off, man. So hard.
Especially in Threshold, the issue was when Teal'c he needed to go through the rite of Mal'Sharan.
Yeah,
and she's like, no. What, do you want him to be brainwashed forever?
Yeah.
But she was happy to let him die.
And she was a bitch about it too. This one, she's like, well, I'm not sure I'm going to. And then Hammond's like, do it. And she's like, oh, okay.
Carter's like, this is a way to free the Jafar from the enslavement of Gwa'ul.
There's nothing bad about doing this.
Pretty sure that's what to. Yeah, even if you give it to him once and he decides not to take it, that's up to him.
Yeah.
Let him decide.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think we should just let him die because there's no way of telling if he does want to live. Well, hang on. Yeah, that contradicts everything you've stood for in the whole series so far.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see if Rhys just hates the Doctor characters, and it's like if he'll hate Dr. Beckett.
No,
when,
he will love
when we
Dr.
get
Beckett.
to Atlantis.
He will love him in the a-hole.
All right.
Got a message here from Johnny Grimison. Hey
Johnny.
guys.
Oh, Johnny, you're
How's have you all been keeping? I've been listening to the podcast every week since you have started and still love it and keep finding myself pissing myself laughing all the time to you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. It definitely breaks up my weeks. Here, tell me this. Would you ever think about doing a podcast on Star Trek Voyager? Oh, sorry.
No.
And just ripping the piss out of that?
I mean, we could.
Not a bad idea.
You'd have to watch it though, Rhys.
No, I wouldn't. I don't need to watch something to rip the piss out of it.
Every time we talk about something.
And then just several crying, laughing face emojis. Only jokes. No, Maddie, just no. I'll message you guys again soon, over and out. So he's made a constructive little suggestion and then went, I don't actually want you to do that. Star Trek.
Is that orange juice?
Well, I don't know. I've never seen that.
OJ.
I didn't want to bring it up, but
yeah.
obviously you can't emoji very well.
Oi, oi.
Hey.
I think it means murder your wife.
The glove doesn't fit. What? What?
Moving the caravan for me, man.
Left the caravan with men. You what? Me man. He's what? He's man.
I'd like to make a formal apology to all of our patrons, just for Mitch and his just terrible, just disgusting efforts on Patreon. He uploaded story time.
Better chuck yourself in that as well, mate.
He uploaded. He uploaded Storytime 3 a couple of weeks ago.
Storytime, for anyone who isn't a patron, Storytime's it's some extra
bonus podcast.
It's among the extra podcasts. It's like the less sweary, offensive version of what a Gibson Brothers podcast.
It's like us wishing. It's like us wishing we had an actual radio show to do, basically.
Sure.
So poor Mitch, he's uploaded Storytime 3: grocery shopping is just the worst. WORSE.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, buddy.
That was one of those sort of,
It's a typo, bro.
It sunk. My heart sunk a little bit when I read that, and I immediately changed. And I apologise to anyone who was offended.
Offended by my grammar.
But offended by my
That's
autocorrect.
literally the only reason I brought it up, because I know how much that hurts Mitch. Like, the only way it could have been worse for you is if you'd written like TOO instead of TO or something like that.
That's my word. That's the worst
only
for
way
me.
it could have been worse for you.
Sometimes I don't mind the yours.
No,
I do.
No, that gets
I mean, I do, but the two, TO instead of TOO.
Sometimes I'll write THERE instead of YOUR.
Yeah, me too. But the two irks me.
So the your and your gets me because a lot of the time you read it, it's when people are trying to be offensive online. They're like, "Oh, you're just a fuckwit," and it's like,
yeah.
What?
Why you are?
Why
No,
are
you are just a.
You're a quit too.
I've seen a shirt and it was
To
like
who?
you had me at the correct use of there, and there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to buy the out of that shirt. And look, I messaged you guys yesterday. You were like, hey, trying to organise the record for tonight. I'm like, sorry guys, I'm at a day spa with my wife. Thanks very much. I actually didn't point out that I was with my wife. I just told you
No,
I was
you
at a day
didn't.
spa.
I'm like,
Oh, well, I just
Gay.
assumed you were with your wife. It'd be weirder if you weren't.
So look, afterwards we go and we have a nice herbal tea to calm down from the day spa massage.
Was there any cucumber water?
No, I don't think so.
Not water, no, but plenty of cucumber.
I've never felt more relaxed.
Plenty of my cucumber water. You know what I mean?
I never felt more relaxed. The cucumber was huge.
Bit uncomfortable at first, but in the end,
Like you guys
like
relaxed.
pickle juice.
eased on in.
So afterwards we're sitting there having a herbal tea and you're in the whisper zone and everyone else is having,
Right. Is that an actual thing?
the quiet rooms, right? The quiet room.
Like that room
So
would hate me.
There's two signs up. It says Dream Relaxation Space, Whisper Zone, Treatments in Progress. Progress has one S at the end. Do you think I can f***ing relax now? There's one S in Progress!
Regress.
Progress.
I had to get out of there. I'm like staring at me out of there.
Urge to kill
It was
rising.
all my strength not to keep whispering.
I'm so cross right now. There's only one S. What? As soon as they pull this cucumber out, I'm gone.
Astria has commented on the YouTube on episode 99.
Would it be Astria?
Not today.
Righto.
Episode 2001 is actually episode 99. Hey guys, I've been a viewer of the program, podcast, since the
YouTube, mate. She's just staring at this. Astra is just Astria. He's just staring at the picture of the four of us looking like idiots.
I'll start it. I don't want to be rude. Hey guys, I've been a viewer of the program since around episode 70.
I'm not sure we should restart that.
Hey guys, I've been a viewer of the program since around episode 70. I love the podcast and can't find anything that compares. You really deserve a larger audience. Well, I can't disagree with you there.
Yeah. Nothing compares. Sorry, I was just
cut
giving you
this.
some.
Speaking of stuff we can cut out, yeah.
Give me
I
some
find the
backing music.
banter downright hilarious sometimes.
She's gonna love you reading this thing.
And the little segments you add to the show really make it something out of this world. Ha! See what I did there? She's way better than you at doing this. I'll say.
Don't assume gender.
I was going to say, I'll say she. I have no idea.
What happened to not trying to be rude?
No, yeah, that was 2 sentences ago. In any case, I am drawn to the show every week and am never disappointed. Well,
You will be this week.
you're welcome. Yeah, wait for it.
That's presumably woman. You three have never disappointed.
Fucking dull.
Never listened to a Gibson Brothers podcast then. I would have left a review sooner, but for the life of me, I couldn't figure out how to leave reviews on SoundCloud. I'm happy you decided to start uploading to YouTube. I do have a question for, well, now I want to be rude because you spelled my name wrong. I do have a question for Rhys, if he doesn't mind.
That's how Daniel Jackson spells it.
What's your favourite episode thus far? Anyways, that's all. Keep doing what you guys do best. I am excited to see what Rhys thinks of future things to come in the franchise. This series gets crazy good.
Truth.
I was wondering if they misspelt episode this far. See what I did?
Yeah, because you don't know what thus means.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the joke.
Yeah. Shakespeare made it up. Oh, look. Oh, man. Favourite episode so far.
What is it?
I should have pre-read it so I got an answer.
Let's see. Some of your highlights have been
Politics.
what? Tin Man.
All the classics.
Charlie 2.0.
Well, let's go back and look at my number
do we
ones
have
throughout
to?
the season.
We didn't have to go that crazy.
It's like 2 pages ago.
Fifth Race.
You write nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have notes going back that far?
Yeah.
Fifth Race.
Wormhole Extreme,
Extreme.
2010.
He's
that was
literally on
pretty-
his 6th page of the notebook.
I'm only going to need one thing. Point of view. That was
Mitch
that was
is
a
on
pretty
page
good one.
1, but we
Season
won't go
3.
through that.
I'm always starting a fresh notepad.
Thor's Chariot. Thor's Chariot was
Oh, yes.
fucking good.
I do
You
remember
did lose your mind on
because that was the first reveal of the Roswell Greys, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's got to be from the whole epic phenomenon of of Stargate and the greater universe of it. When Roswell Greys were an actual thing, and I'm like, holy shit! I think that's what makes Stargate so epic. It's because they use the real life the past, what we call now mythology, and they make it into current world. Yeah, so I think that's what's so good about it.
Like
And
Matthew
the fact
Riley
that,
books, the way that they weave in real world events into like the fantasy aspect of it.
Yeah.
And you kind of
Da Vinci Code, stuff like
yeah,
that.
you're sort of just like, oh, so where does the fantasy end and the truth begin? And it's like, whoa,
Yeah, I think that's and I think the fact that they've got all the Egyptian mythology, and then they've just added Roswell Greys. Like I'm just like that. It's a genius move, and it's
random.
It's
but
just,
it works.
and it's just they've got the Egyptian and the Roswell Greys, and it's just like all these things
Different
that are
races.
mythology. People
Well,
don't really.
Interestingly,
next thing we know, Jesus will be in it.
they took Egyptian religion and used all of it, except for like worshipping cats. That's the only thing they never do or address in Stargate is like how the Egyptians worship cats. So it's like that
Schrodinger.
So it's like they removed that aspect and just crammed in Roswell Greys instead. And I'm like, that was a smart choice.
Oh man, that was epic. Yeah, that'd have to be my favourite. Meeting Thor.
Thor's chariot. Told you it's better than Thor's hammer, Brendan.
Okay.
They do not recall. It's time to find out if Rhys has been paying attention.
Nope.
Do you want to join in the song?
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
No, I do. These are all gimmies, to be honest. Just wrote them. Hot off the press.
Oh, at least you were sober when you wrote them this time.
Am I sober?
Theory.
Am I?
Doing Dry July, guys.
Are you?
Yeah, that's why I'm depressed.
I was going to say, you look depressed.
Well, you said sugar-free before as well? Sugar-free and piss-free?
Yeah.
What are you eating? Ice cubes? What else is there?
5 gimmies for you, Rhys.
Yeah. We know the rules.
Time starts after the first question. Who appeared to Teal'c in his dream?
Apophis.
No, the real person. What rank was Carter in the fire station?
She's captain.
Correct. Who wrote The Changeling?
Christopher Judge.
Correct. What did Teal'c deny doing in the cafeteria?
Milk? You drinking milk?
Incorrect. What actor plays Apophis?
Your mate, bloody Apop.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mental blank.
You got 2 there.
I'm really bad with names if you didn't know.
Daniel Jackson appeared to Teal'c in his dream.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so did Apophis. There's no specific.
No, he didn't appear
He
to
didn't
him.
appear.
He was part of the dream. Daniel appeared to him.
What
Come
the
on, mate.
does that mean? You're saying appeared like it's a spoiler
Look,
of the.
it
it's
says
appeared.
here, Dr. Daniel Jackson.
That's actually the most accurate way of describing it there.
Yeah.
If I said Jackson, you would have said nah, Apophis.
Teal'c denied fainting in the cafeteria. He denied fainting. I did not faint, Dr. Fraser. What actor plays Apophis? Peter Williams. Big Pete dog.
Yeah,
Vape
yeah.
off.
He also denied milk. Do you want some milk? No, thank you. Deny that.
Denied doing in the cafeteria.
Oh, you didn't say doing.
Yeah, I did.
You said, what did he deny?
Wouldn't have
Listen to
thought
the
so.
tape, you piece of shit.
Let's see that in an instant replay.
What did Teal'c deny doing in the cafeteria?
It's always hard every
You
week
listen.
now. It's always hard to know what's more lacking, Rhys's knowledge or Brendan's ability to write cogent questions.
Or who gives a shit?
I think what's lacking is Maddie trying to come up with a good segment.
Hey, that's my role.
Just sitting right here.
I don't know, I just thought you did a double whammy with me and Brendan. So I just had to return serve.
You stupid son of a bitch.
Oh, God, he comes back from the great beyond to do it again.
Yeah, well.
Goddamn son of a
What are you
bitch.
gonna do?
I got one last week, so that's all that matters.
That is episode 130 of Get Into Gate. Thanks for joining us this week and every week. We will be back next week to talk Memento,
Douche chills, man.
the third last episode of season 6.
Oh, this is one.
Hallelujah!
This is one Ashley O loves.
Yeah.
Memento.
Yeah.
That's right, and she can't
Looking
explain
forward to
why.
it.
Will Rhys be the same? Find out next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, you can check out all of our old podcasts on our podcasting channels. Just pick which one's your favourite. We're going to be there too. And we're even on YouTube. As you see, go and subscribe and like and watch with the window hidden. Do everything you can. Support the show, listen to the show, watch the show. Like, subscribe, all that on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or send us an off-world activation, getintogate@gmail.com.
If you don't want a massive change, but you just want a little changeling, jump onto patreon.com/Get Into Geek.
If you want to be one of the alien species from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the Changelings, jump on our Patreon. Just
The line has to be drawn here. This far and no
Someone needs to
further.
read these out then. I was about to read out our new patrons. But you tell me.
Well, we don't know how to sell it properly, but a big shout out to our new patrons on patreon.com/Get Into Geek. Tate Myers!
Tato!
Sarah Rutlinger. Sarah. What are we rolling with here? We're going with Sarah Rutlinger, and Dustin Puckett. Oh, we're going to have some fun with you, old bucko. Dustin Puckett. The Puck Dog. Get pucked. All right, we'll catch you back next week for Memento, episode 20 of season 6 of Stargate SG-1, right here on Get Into Geek.
Get Into Geek.